unification of Italy and unification of Germany, which taken place in 1870. And there is another Russian revolutions which taken place in 1905 and 1907 and 1970. So these also given rise to a boost to the Indian nationalists to fight against the British. Okay, so apart from these, many other things which leads to the growth of Indian national movement, like the events of the events, not events, the policies which followed by the Lord Lytton. Okay, so Lord Lytton, a Governor General who who followed certain anti-Indian Indian policies at that time. Okay, so as a he worked as a Governor General between 1870 to 1884. So he had he taken certain policies or decisions to against the Indians. Okay, so one among them was he conducted a darbar in 1877 when the people of South India were suffering from effects of terrible famines at that. Okay, so in 1877, he started he conducted a darbar at Delhi to welcome the Queen of Britain. So he spent a much amount on this darbar. At the time, there is a severe famines have taken place, and avoiding or neglecting the social welfare, he spent a much amount on this. Okay, which is also a important event which he faced the Indians anger. Okay, so most of the important duties on the British textile imports were removed to please the textile manufacturers of England. Okay, so Indians interpreted to action as a proof of the British desire to ruin small but growing textile industry in India. In 1878, the Arms Act was passed, which disarmed the Indians. It appeared that it was an attempt by the government to weaken the whole nation. Okay, so the Arms Act of 1878 also a important event or a decision taken by the Lord Lytton, which he faced the great anger from the Indian society. And the second organ war the caused the Indian Treasury a lot. Lytton passed the Vernacular Press Act in 1878. The people belong to all walks of life condemned the discrimination provisions of the Act. It has been pointed out that Act was a retrograde and ill-conceived the measure injurious to the future progress of India. Okay, so at the same time, in 1878, the government announced new regulations reducing the maximum age limit for sitting in Indian civil service examination from 21 years to the 90. Okay, so during his tenure, he also taken a decision that reducing the age of the Indians who are appearing for the Indian civil services. Okay, so all these measures created a widespread discontent among the Indians. Anti-Indian administration of Lord Lytton helped to intensify the discontent about the foreign rule. Okay, so apart from this, there is also a repressive policies and radical arrogance of the British also given rise to the nationalism. Okay, so the racial arrogance and the rude behavior of the British towards the Indian had played a significant role in making them conscious of their condition. Okay, the British government did not allow the educated Indians to avail any opportunity to serve the higher administrative force. Okay, the age limit for Indians already we discussed. Okay, so the enactment of number of laws further created widespread discontent among the Indians. Okay, so like Vernacular Press Act, also a important or a great hurdle to the Indians at that time. Okay, so and one more thing is another important Governor General who who worked as a anti-Indian was the Lord Curzon. Okay, so within according the policies of Lord Curzon, the British Lord Curzon, this Bengal partition has taken place in 1905. Okay, so to against the Bengal partition, the Swadeshi movement, which is a great spark, which is from the Indian society. Okay, so it is also an important event which given rise of the Indian national movement at that time. Okay, so discrimination against the Indians in the appointment of government services also. Okay, so from the beginning there was much discrimination shown in the respect of appointment of Indians to the government service. No Indian was given high positions. The British did not trust the Indians and their sincerity. Okay, so proclamation of Queen Victoria in 1858 declared the Indians and would be appointed to high posts on the basis of their merit, irrespective of their caste, religion, race. Okay, so the Queen Proclamation has taken, which is uh, uh, which uh, uh, which announced in 1858. Okay, after immediately after revolt of 1857. Okay, so this Queen's Proclamation given many opportunities to the Indians, and which the same Queen's Proclamation, which controlled the East India Company's policies and its rights and powers also. Okay, so which put the end of the East India Company, and from 1858 onwards, there is a direct rule of British government has taken place. Okay, so which given certain provisions to the Indians. Okay, so up to 1858, there is a severe, not severe, it's one type of partiality towards the Indians in each and every aspect. Okay, so one more thing is the Ilbert Bill controversy. Okay, so during the viceroyalty of Lord Ripon, a controversy arose concerning the Ilbert Bill. Okay, so Ripon tried to pass a law to enable the Indian district magistrate and session judges to try the Europeans in criminal cases. Okay, so here Ripon is somewhat supported to the Indians. He was Indian friendly Governor General. Okay, the only one Indian friendly Governor General is the Lord Ripon, right? So during his tenure, there is a event has taken place. Okay, so the event is nothing but the Ilbert Bill. During his tenure, Ilbert Bill was passed, and according to the Ilbert Bill, the Indians got certain status to to uh, uh, to uh, take up the cases of Europeans. Okay, so I will read once again. So Ripon tried to pass a law to enable the Indian district magistrates and sessions judges to try the Europeans in criminal cases. He given certain opportunity to the Indians to become as a district magistrates and session judges to take up the European criminal cases. Okay, so which is opposed by the Europeans at that time, because they are still thinking that they are thinking that they are at the high or a civilized manner. Okay, so that's why they are opposing this Ilbert Bill. That's why it became as a Ilbert Bill controversy. Okay, so the Europeans in India organized a agitation against the bill, which was drafted by Ilbert, the law member of Ripon's government. Okay, so they poured abuses on Indians. Lord Ripon became a target of agitation. The Europeans declared that even the most highly educated among the Indians were unfit to try the Europeans. In the end, the government bowed before the Europeans. Okay, so finally, the uh, uh, Ripon also bent for the pressure of the Europeans, and he dissolved the uh, uh, the act also. Okay, due to the various hesitations which uh, 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 vegetations taken place by the Europeans at that time in India. Okay, so apart from these, many other important aspects also given rise to the Indian national movement in India. Okay, particularly the political and administrative unity. Okay, so one of the significant results of British conquest of India was the establishment of centralized state. Okay, it brought about a political administrative unification of the country. The pre-British India was divided into numerous feudal states, frequently struggling among themselves to extend their boundaries. The British authority established a centralized state structure in India within uniform reign of law. They enacted and codified laws which were applicable to every citizen of the state. These laws were enforced by the hierarchically graded system of tribunals. Okay, so the public services brought about administrative unification of the country, and the establishment of uniform currency system, common administration, common laws, and judicial structure contributed to Indian unification. Okay, so at the courts before the colonial era or colonial period, the whole India, which is divided into the various regions. Okay, in the form of various kingdoms uh, or various parts, and each kingdom having their own style of administration. Okay, so during the colonial era, which brought all these differences into one, the unitary form. Okay, so they are introduced the uniform system of law, a judiciary, and uniform introduction of uniform currency. Likewise, there is this colonial system which brought a unity among the Indians. Okay, so apart from the hatred against these colonial exploitation, which also given rise to certain unity among the Indians at that time. Okay, so and there is a revival of glorious Indian heritage also main cause for the rise of Indian nationalism. When Indians were developing a sense of inferiority complex being exploited under the colonial rule, the glorious heritage of India was revived by some Western scholars like Max Muller, William Jones, Wilkins, etc. They translated some Sanskrit text into English and attempted to prove the supremacy of ancient Indian culture, its heritage and philosophy. Okay, so Max Muller, a important European intellectual who worked on the history of Sanskrit literature. Okay, so he brought this the things are the matter in the Sanskrit literature, which gradually translated into English language, and gradually from English language to other Indian vernacular language. Okay, it means the the things, the positive things in the Sanskrit literature, which were which uh, reached to the Indian society. Okay, so every corner of the Indian society, they are thinking that it is a great a great heritage of the Indians. Okay, so they translated some Sanskrit text to English and attempt to prove the supremacy of ancient Indian culture, its heritage and philosophy. Some Indian scholars like R.G. Bhandarkar and other H.P. Shastri, etc., helped in reviving the past glory of India. Okay, so the past glory, which is reached to India through the efforts of certain European intellectuals, also a important cause for the growth of Indian nationalism. Okay, so and economic exploitation, we already discussed about the economic exploitation and British supremacy, and influence of Western education and English language and Western education. Okay, so development of means of transport, emergence of modern press, and impact of international events, social and religious reform movements, the events of the policies of Lord Return and Ilbertville controversy. So the immediate cause is the establishment of Indian National Congress. Okay, so Indian National Congress, which is a great platform which combine all the Indians in a great path. Okay, so the before the Indian National Congress, you uh, uh, many organizations are there, like Landholder Society, which is started in 1837, and East India Association started in 1866. Indian Association of Calcutta, Indian 1876, which started by Surendranath Banerjee, and Pune Sarvajanik Sabha, which started by M.G. Ranade in 1867. Madras Mahajana Sabha. All these are various organizations are there, political organizations are there, but no political organization brought the whole Indian society on a great platform to lead the Indian national movement. Okay, so the Indian National Congress is a great effort of A.O. Hume, but which is carried by the Indians from 1885 to 1947. Okay, so these are the important factors which leads to the development of Indian national movement in India. Okay, so this is end of my class today. So tomorrow we'll going to see the other things like how the English education particularly mobilize the Indian society, and other things we'll see one by one. And the Indian national movement is which is in the three parts. Okay, so in 3 pages, one is the moderated extremist and Gandhian era. We'll also see one by one accordingly. So the mixed class, maybe I will give you which the distance education authorities may give any